What's the function of that feature? What's the function of that feature? What's the function of that feature? What's the funk? What's the function of that feature? What's the function of that feature? What's the function of that feature? What's the funk cover? The function of the cover is to catch my eye. The function of the cover is to catch my eye. Find out what it's about from the outside. Find out what it's about from the outside. Title. The function of the title is to introduce. The function of the title is to introduce. How you doing? My name is. Nice to meet you. How you doing? My name is. Nice to meet. Subtitle. The function of the sub is to get specific. The function of the sub is to get specific. The subtitle gives the focus in a simple sentence. The subtitle gives the focus in a simple sentence. Publication. The function of the pub stuff is to give credit. The function of the pub stuff is to give credits. Who wrote it? Who owns it? Who makes edits? Who wrote it? Who owns it? Who makes edits? Table of contents. The function of the TOC is to overview. The function of the TOC is to overview. Topics, cover, page numbers, what we're going through. Topics, cover, page numbers, what we're going through. Introduction. The function of the intro to give context. The function of the intro to give context. Big picture before I enter into the text. Big picture before I enter. What is next? What is next? What's the function of that feature? What's the function of that feature? What's the function of that feature? What's the funk? What's the function of that feature? What's the function of that feature? What's the function of that feature? What's the font? The function of the font is to present. The function of the font is to present. Different types, different sizes show importance. Different types, different sizes show importance. Special print. The function of the special prints to emphasize. The function of the special prints to emphasize. Underline, bold print, or italicize. Underline, bold print, or italicize. Heading. The function of the heading is to give direction. The function of the heading is to give direction. What info is ahead in the next section? What info is ahead in the next section? List. The function of the list is to put in order. The function of the list is to put in order. Bullets, letters, numbers, how, and author sort them. Bullets, letters, numbers, how, and author sort them. Text box. The function of the text box is to showcase. The function of the text box is to showcase. Related information on the same page. Related information on the same page. Text box, block it off. Text box, block it. Text box, block it off. Text box, block it. Text box, block it off. Text box, block it. Text box, block it off. Text box, block it. Pull quote. The function of the pull quote is to pull them in. The function of the pull quote is to pull them in. Take a quote that they wrote, make it prominent. Take a quote that they wrote, make it prominent. Sidebars. The function of the sidebar is to add more. The function of the sidebar is to add more. For more info, I suggest you check next door. For more info, I suggest you check next door. What's the function of that feature? What's the function of that feature? What's the function of that feature? What's the funk? What's the function of that feature? What's the function of that feature? What's the function of that feature? What's the funk? Photo. The function of the photo is to give it life. The function of the photo is to give it life. I could read it, now I see it with my own eyes. I could read it, now I see it with my own eyes. Illustration. The function of an illustration is to show. The function of an illustration is to show how an artist interpret what an author wrote. How an artist interpret what an author wrote. Chart. The function of the chart is to organize. The function of the chart is to organize. Info into visuals I can analyze.
Break it down.
Info into visuals I can analyze. Table. The function of the tables to arrange data. The function of the tables to arrange data. Columns down, rows across, on display data. Columns down, rows across, on display data. Graph. The function of the graph is to intersect. The function of the graph is to intersect. Two data sets, see where they connect. Two data sets, see where they connect. Caption. The function of the caption is to describe. The function of the caption is to describe. The text below lets me know what is inside. The text below lets me know what's the function of that feature? What's the function of that feature? What's the function of that feature? What's the funk? What's the function of that feature? What's the function of that feature? What's the function of that feature? What's the funk? Timeline. The function of the timeline is to give events. The function of the timeline is to give events. Different times, one line, all relevant. Different times, one line, all relevant. Map. The function of the map is to show locations. The function of the map is to show locations. Where it at? Check the map for some navigation. Where it at? Check the map for some navigation. Diagram. The function of the diagram is to show. The function of the diagram is to show. What's inside, identify with a label. What's inside, identify with a label. Cross section. The function of the cross section is to slice. The function of the cross section is to slice. When I cut it with a knife, what is inside? When I cut it with a knife, what is inside? Cut away. The function of the cutaways to take away. The function of the cutaways to take away.
Just take it away.
Show me what is underneath, put it on display. Show me what is underneath, put it on display. Close up. The function of the close up is to magnify.
Make it bigger.
The function of the close up is to magnify. Increase the size so I see it with a naked eye. Increase the size so I see it with a naked eye. What's the function of that feature? What's the function of that feature? What's the function of that feature? What's the funk? What's the function of that feature? What's the function of that feature? What's the function of that feature? What's the funk key? The function of the key is to clue me in. The function of the key is to clue me in. Keywords, symbols, pronunciation.
How you say it?
Keywords, symbols, pronunciation. Footnote. The function of the footnote is to store notes.
Store them notes.
The function of the footnote is to store notes.
Store them
Teeny
notes.
number like a door to the floor below. Teeny number like a door to the floor below. Hyperlink. The function of the hyperlinks to transport. The function of the hyperlinks to transport. One click reference to another source. One click reference to another source. Control F. The function of Control F is to search. The function of Control F is to search. Huge text, Control F, then type the word. Huge text, Control F, then type the word. Glossary. The function of the glossary is to define. The function of the glossary is to define. Definitions A to Z, easy to find it. Definitions A to Z, easy to find. Index. The function of the index is to give location. The function of the index is to give location. Term plus page numbers, that's a destination. Term plus page numbers at our destination. What's the function of that feature? What's the function of that feature? What's the function of that feature? What's the funk? What's the function of that feature? What's the function of that feature? What's the function of that feature? What's the funk?